Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Today's video is just fun. This one's going to be fun. On August the 24th, Vince McMahon had his 77th birthday. And so he had a birthday party. And TMZ showed up. And out of this, we got some of the most hilarious visuals and reactions possible. We got Vince McMahon with a pregnant elbow. He's with some young lady who apparently is eating her purse. John Cena is there, wearing the same blue suit he's always wearing with an orange tie. He's got an Iranian woman with him. She looks Iranian. Brock Lesnar is there in the cowboy hat gimmick. And Pat McAfee's there, and he's just having a blast. Everything about this is absolutely, purely hilarious. All of this is hilarious. I want to know, I must know, why this woman had a purse in her mouth. I have to know this. For some reason, I just looked at that picture and said, why would you want to eat it? Why is it in your mouth? Like, is it slippery outside and she was about to fall? Or is she worried about somebody snatching her purse and running? Was this a way to keep her from being identified? You know, Vince is covering his face because, you know, everybody's thinking he's trying to hide himself in shame. No, he's almost 80 and you flashing light bulbs in his face in the middle of the night. Like, you're just, but this might be the first time, one of the few times outside of the gym that I didn't see Vince in a suit. So we're looking at his arms and we see it's called bursitis. He has elbow bursitis, but clearly it looks like his arm swallowed a golf ball. It's like, what is going on? What kind of gathering was this? Where Brock was there, apparently in an alley, drinking, I'm guessing, beer with Pat McAfee. And I beg the question, who else was in this joint that they didn't get a picture of? I'm pretty sure there was more people there, but of course Vince was there with a young lady. Clearly wasn't Linda. Clearly wasn't Stephanie either. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is. Where is Linda? We're asking the wrong questions here. But the responses are absolutely hilarious. Despite the fact that these are hilarious responses, some of them are quite rude, of course. And a lot of the rude comments are for John Cena. Because it's like, hey, you know, Vince, he's a dirty old rapist, you know, as they say. But why is good guy John there? And it's like, it's always the case with John Cena now. Like, you put John Cena's name into any kind of machine, two things come up. One, John Cena making some child cry because he popped up on him in a donut shop or something like that, and he's signing autographs and giving hugs. Or he's going to see some kid on their deathbed. And then the second is John Cena smooching the ass of the Chinese, or now how much he loves Vince and how much he loves his rapist boss. So it's an interesting situation to watch occur. But this is the first time I think they have really treated Vince McMahon like some kind of pop culture Kardashian or something like that. I don't know when the last time like paparazzi just kind of mobbed on Vince like this. I couldn't tell you. Most of the time, even when he's in and out of countries or stuff like that, you don't get these kinds of pictures. But this whole scene is absolutely bizarre. I will never forget the day that I was introduced to this young lady. I don't know what her name is quite yet. But we're going to know that she had our first vision of her. She had a purse in her mouth. So that's not exactly going to be the best first impressions. That the first time we see you're hanging out with old man Vince. That's perfectly fine. She looks to be in her late 40s, maybe 50s. And you had a purse in your mouth. Why? And then, you know, we could always be positive and say, look, man, Vince is spry enough to go to, I'm guessing, a club, a restaurant or something like that. A birthday dinner. Some people have said it was. But this whole thing was absolutely hilarious. So let's get into it. Let's get into some of these people being very upset and angry at Vince McMahon having a birthday dinner. How dare he have another birthday? And how dare anybody celebrate it with him? How dare they? He should sit in the house by himself, ashamed of himself for what he allegedly did for people who did not complain. Here we go. I can't wait for John Cena's inspirational tweet about how stealing money to bribe victims is actually a part of the human growth experience. This is a person who clearly doesn't follow the story. One, Vince did not steal any money. Vince used his own money. Let's break that up from the beginning. Okay. Off rip, the reason why WWE, why they revised their financial statements, they did so because Vince McMahon's payouts had a material effect on business. But Vince used his own money. He did not use company money. He did not embezzle, which is the part that I was focused on. I was focused on whether he was embezzling or not. Apparently he didn't. Now, the reason why it had a material impact, well, no material impact, no cash impact, he said, but it did have a material impact, is it probably prevented them from bad publicity and probably affected other forms of business. And it probably affected sponsorships and stuff like that. Because later in the financial statements, they started talking about this. They hid it well. Stephanie hid it pretty well. But you could tell, that there was some business that was in the way that couldn't go forward as long as Vince was still there. And sponsorships was one of those things when they were asked about it. She said there was a hold for a while, but those holds have since been removed. So apparently there was probably some partners, some sponsors who said, like, look, as long as Vince is there, we're not doing business with you guys. And it's going to be hard for us to do business with you as long as Vince is there. So when Vince retired and he officially moved out of his position, that kind of stuff cleared up, and now they can, better negotiate for sponsorships and stuff like that. So basically, all these allegations and all this misinformation, like what this guy is spreading, is the reason why, business was being held back a little bit. And that's why he retired, is that he felt like he had to. He was in the way. And I kind of said this at first, that he was going to eventually be in the way of the company. So there that goes. Let's continue this thing. Not Sam. This will be Sam Roberts. So that's why you chose this week for a vacation. I hope you enjoyed Mr. McMahon's party. Ugh. I don't even know if Sam Roberts was there. Was he even invited? Who would invite him? Who would invite him? So can we talk about Cena being kind of shitty with this man? I hope that real sports thing isn't super bad. What? I don't understand. The Bryant Gumbel thing. Okay. Look, Vince has been dealing with bad publicity for 30 some odd years. I don't know why people think all of a sudden we're going to start doing these things, and somebody in a shadowy room that you're not supposed to know who it is with a garbled voice telling a story that they can't prove is going to all of a sudden change everything. Because that's the kind of stuff that they do. That's the difference between most stories and like the R. Kelly stuff. Like R. Kelly stuff, people was willing to put their name and face on it. But there are so many people who usually they do these series, they do them under anonymously. So we don't know if it's the janitor. Like the Michael Jackson story. I love going back to Michael Jackson because it's a really great example of what happens. And I learned this just recently, that Michael Jackson, when it comes to a lot of the stuff that was being spread in the gossip columns about Michael Jackson, it was people paying people who are ancillary characters. So janitors and maids and those kinds of people for stories about Michael Jackson. So they will approach these people who are, blue collar, salt of the earth folks like you and me, all from $10,000, $15,000 for stories on Michael Jackson. This person would tell a story. Hell, they're incentivized to lie now. I mean, you're going to give me $10,000. I'll tell you whatever you want. I'll tell you the motherfucker shit at a rainbow if that'll get me $10,000. I don't give a fuck. He touched all the kids. You gonna give me $15,000 and I'm fucking broke? He touched them all of them. I saw it. I can't prove it, but I saw it. And don't put my name on it either. So give me the money. I'll tell you a story. I'm a person close to the matter. And that's just it. So we don't know what kind of investigations people are going to pop up with. But ultimately, Vince has been dealing with this shit for a long time. And he's almost 80. So what's going to happen, really? Not much. So Continuing. Do we feel inclined to take Terry's accusations against Lesnar seriously? Okay, so Terry Runnels, the ex-wife of Goldust, she said that Brock Lesnar flashed her in the hallway or something. It was in a shoot interview that I forgot whether she walked into his room or he walked into her room or however that happened, and he opened his towel, and that was pretty much it. He didn't like attack her or anything like that. So if anything, it was probably inappropriate if it even occurred the way that she says it occurred, if it even happened at all. So we don't know. Again, people are incentivized to tell stories. When they do shoot interviews, they're paid to sit there and come up with stuff. Here's one. Vince actually came outside with one of his ladies, since everyone knows now. Like, since there's no point in hiding it anymore, brother. Oh shit. Respectfully, John Cena is an idiot. This is awful PR for him. Look, John Cena has been involved with WWE his almost entire adult life. All of a sudden, he's supposed to not be involved with them. I don't know. Maybe because it was a personal gathering, but I don't think anybody really cares outside of the TMZ, crowd that John Cena was hanging out with Vince. Who really gives a shit? Really, who gives a shit? So it is what it is. There's a bunch of John Cena. I don't see John Cena in these pictures, tweets, because that's what these people do. They do it all the time. I don't see Cena. Where is he? Absolutely no way you could find me working for TMZ. Feels so parasitic. You have to be missing a humanity chromosome. I'd feel like a tabloid Serpico. This guy's from Wrestling Inc. I mean, Wrestling Inc. is what? Less than TMZ? Or about the same level? I can't really tell. Here's one. I always wondered how many actual friends Vince has made outside of the workplace. Like, I figured Taker, Trips, Sean, and John will be some of them, since Vince was a father figure to them. But other than that, I think there probably are a couple more, but sometimes in a situation like this, people might have other things to do, or they might just not. And I don't go to all of my friends' birthday parties. I mean, it sucks, but I don't. I'm not really a party guy like that, which is why it's so surprising that Brock is there. Because everybody's like, Brock hates people and he hates parties. What is he doing there? Which is a good question. Why the hell is Brock there? But I don't go to all of my friends' birthday parties and stuff like that. But I would imagine a lot of these guys have really strong relationships with Vince. And whether they talk to him personally, like call him to see how he's doing, that's the kind of stuff I would be, thinking about. Like, how many people just casually call Vince on the phone? Like, what's up, boss? How you doing, man? You all right? You fall down the steps today? You've been eating? You see the grandkids? Like, there's like random questions, random family questions. I'll be thinking about stuff like that. But, also you have to realize that we're men, and these are men, and men don't tend to be in touch with each other, but have still strong relationships. Like, I could not talk to my friends for almost a month. It doesn't change, how we relate to one another. So maybe some of these guys didn't even know he was about to have a birthday party. Thought he wasn't going to do much of anything. And then find out through TMZ, oh, he had a birthday party. Well, that's nice. Not even offended that they weren't asked to go. Just kind of like, oh, nice to see the old man out, or whatever. All right. Somebody says, anyone shocked by Cena remaining loyal to a fault to the man hasn't paid attention to Cena throughout his career. It's stinky, but not surprising. Stinky. This is weird. Somebody says, I see that the Peacemaker and the White Dragon have made up. Interesting. Somebody says, it's funny because I never thought of them being close. Are you crazy? That's crazy. John Cena has been seriously very close with Vince for a long time, notoriously. Guess John Cena likes dudes that force women to have sex with them to save their jobs. That's an interesting statement. Do you have factual evidence on that? Of course, we knew this was going to come. Cena got a bad bitch, and she is very pretty. She's very pretty. If I had to compare them, I would say she is a nicer looking young lady than Nikki Bella. She got a funny last name. That's why I think she's Iranian. Her last name is pretty nutty. I don't even want to attempt to pronounce it, but it is what it is. I wouldn't like to be seen hanging out with an old sex predator, but that's just me. Well, you look at the account, of course, it is Black Lives Matter, rainbows, all kind of stuff. And they post not safe for work content. So basically porn. So, weird, right? Let's see. Nah. Vinny out on the pool. Jesus, that's gross. Somebody says, I'm crying. People actually thought WWE wrestlers were going to hate the man that made them multimillionaires. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of dumb. I think there's probably more people going to be quiet more than anything. They're going to be like, well, shit. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you didn't see a lot of backlash on Vince. That's why I think the whole Bryant Gumbel or whatever they're going to try to do, it's probably going to be a lot of bitter old wrestlers, kind of like how these things always are. These guys, in 40 years, you've made a lot of enemies, and people are going to be contacted, called on the phone, and they have the opportunity. Like during the steroid trial, almost anybody that Vince had ever pissed off popped up out of nowhere. Same thing with the Ringing Boy scandal. Bruno, because Bruno got into it with Vince at one point. Billy Graham, he got into it with Vince at one point. These guys, and you look into some of the history, you see some of these guys have sued Vince, like Gary Michael Capetta. He talks a lot of shit about WWF too. Nobody ever asked him how, did you sue Vince in the 80s? Because you did. How did that work out? So a lot of these people have axes to grind. It's going to be very difficult to find somebody who just genuinely saw something that they thought was off and decided to say something about it, or genuinely thinks that the guy is a creep or something like that. It's almost always people with an axe to grind. Somebody who got some secret dislike of Vince for some business reason or even some personal reason. And it's unfortunate, but when you get to that position, it gets like that. You meet hundreds of thousands of people. And out of hundreds of thousands of people that you've met, shook hands with, crossed paths with in some way, how many of those people you think you rubbed the wrong way? If it's even 40, that's enough to create a surviving Vince McMahon documentary. Because you don't even need half that many. You only need 6, and that's it. 6 people out of all the 100 people that you ever met in your entire life can ruin your life. Here's an interesting one. John, this is a rare L for you. And then they close the comments because somebody said, no, it's actually a quite common John Cena W. Not one of my followers hanging out with a pervert. Oh, yeah. John Cena does follow a bunch of people on Twitter. I don't know. That seems very random that he just randomly follows people on Twitter. This following comment is from a guy who is, I think, a David Bixen fan account, like one of his alt accounts. But I gotta remember getting into a debate with him, and Bixen fan popped up like miraculously out of nowhere, like almost as if he was summoned. But somebody Cena bragged about deeply misogynistic and borderline predatory sexual exploits on the radio, so it's not shocking he still respects Vince. Deeply misogynistic and borderline predatory sexual exploits. What? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we could just speak English and say Cena said some unsavory stuff? Like, what stuff is he even talking about? I don't know. Maybe it was like a Howard Stern interview from like 40 years ago or some shit. But this is the kind of, scum-sucking douchebaggery we have to deal with when you're a celebrity. Every comment is twisted and turned and flipped and dissected over and over again in order to make either you look bad or you look great. And none of it makes much sense to me. Somebody says, I wonder who that random quote-unquote woman was that was with him. Certainly didn't look like Linda to me. It didn't look like Linda to me either. Linda has white hair last time I checked. I think it might be a little bit faded blonde. And that woman certainly does not. But very interesting. Very interesting, that young lady. Vince came with another young female, too. Yeah, he did. Ew, why are they friends? What do you mean, why are they friends? Oh, I forgot. You're supposed to hate your boss. You're supposed to hate your boss. You're supposed to want to kill him, want him to die or something. I don't know. What the hell are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense to me. I've never seen John not wearing either a suit, the Peacemaker costume, or jorts. And that has been like his regular triumvirate of clothes over the last 20 some odd years. I know he spent almost 15 to 20 of those years in jorts alone. Like he had to wear jorts everywhere because he was in character like all the time. Then he started transitioning into the suit. He started dressing like Vince. Like that's the crazy thing right there. That's just blowing my mind. Like he started wearing the insane Vince McMahon. It's like it's almost as if Vince gave his wardrobe to John Cena. You know, with the wacky suit colors and everything. It's absolutely hilarious. Who's the blonde woman with Vince, TMZ, since you're always in people's business? John Cena knows his name was about to be leaked as one of Vince's boy toys. Ugh. Oh, that's gross. If you didn't tell me it was his birthday, I'd have thought he was being taken away by the cops. That's how that does how it look. Because, you know, that's what people do when they're on a perp walk. They cover their eyes or whatever. It does look like a perp walk. That's a good point. Here's one. Comes to show that Vince really pushed his favorites instead of talent or skill. Yeah, he had a talent and a skill for putting butts in seats and selling merchandise, which is what Vince wanted him to do. I wonder how many of them guests stay loyal to him, Hime, H-I-M-E, once the charges start happening to the old pervert. What charges? Good luck. It says, is it me or does Vince look depressed and tired? He's 77. What the fuck is he supposed to look like? You know, he's he's very old. He's very, very old. Super old, for Christ's sake. He's very, very old. Here's an interesting one. This is bizarre. Comments and the replies are bizarre. But I'm glad they had a good time celebrating their credibly accused for decades sexual predator friend. I love the credibly accused comment because that doesn't really mean anything. Because these people don't believe in a non-credibly accused allegation. You know, like when you talk to people about these kinds of stuff, like what's the difference between a credible accusation and a non-credible one? Well, it's just one that they believe. That's and they believe them all. You know, if they don't critically ask any questions, because you're not allowed to question it. So the idea that, you know, they're intelligent or anyway is like nonsense. Let's see. Why the fuck is this woman carrying her purse in her mouth? Good question. I mean, come on. What is up with this? I need to know this. And somebody says, oh, his paralegal is celebrating too. How cool. Maybe she's not a paralegal. Maybe she's like I don't know. Works in a financial office or something like that. Maybe she might be a banker or somebody she might be a stewardess from the flights or whatever. Somebody says, Vince, who is she? Is she 15 million laddie next to Vince? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that was. And I don't know what language it was supposed to be in. Why Shouty got her purse in her mouth? I don't know. Somebody says, okay, but why is Vince's elbow the size of a tennis ball? Like Popeye while the spinach travels to his fist? Everything about this shit is hilarious. There are so many questions about the purse in the mouth. I have no earthly idea why John Cena wants to be seen with somebody who's got their purse in their mouth. I have no idea why this is happening. Somebody says 1 month he already looks like a wreck. He already looked like a wreck. Have you not seen the man? He doesn't fucking sleep. Somebody, Cena was always and remains loyal to Vince, no matter what. Taker is on that list too, along with Lesnar. Yeah, I'm surprised Undertaker wasn't there. Somebody says Vince not wearing a suit back terrifies me. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I'm just so surprised Vince went out in public without wearing a suit. But I guess since he's retired, he's just he's going to dress down. So that's nice. Somebody says, sometimes I wonder if John Cena even owns casual outfits outside of his wrestling fits. No, I think he just owns this one suit, the Peacemaker costume, which he probably takes home with him, and he's got a closet full of jorts, and that's pretty much it. And he probably regrets the closet full of jorts because now he's like 45, and he can't get caught dead in public, especially now that he's doing Hollywood stuff, to be popping up in jorts. Well, and again, he still does WWE stuff too. He still does like Make-A-Wish and stuff like that for him. So the jorts come in handy. You know, they're going to have an entire WWE museum full of John Cena jorts. Just think about how ridiculous that's going to be. It's going to be like a walk-in closet. These are the jorts that he wore on Raw, May 19th, 2008 or some shit. And you're like, oh, hell no. Somebody says, every 10-year-old kid hearing about this is feeling a world of jealousy. 10-year-old? If you're 10, well, you know who John Cena is. Hello. They did the girl dirty with the bag in her mouth. Yeah, they did. They took the only picture they have of her is the one where she got a purse in her mouth. They didn't take a picture of her. She actually took the purse out before she put the purse in. Nothing. You know, the only picture they got of her is the one with her purse in her mouth. God damn it. Oh, that's so bad. I'll be so embarrassed. Like, that's the only... I'll be trying to get more pictures taken. Like, please take pictures of me without this goddamn thing in my mouth. It really makes... Because I'm one of those people who puts, like, weird stuff in their mouth. Especially when my hands are occupied. I'll put, like, my phone in my mouth or, you know, something like that. You know, you use your teeth as an appendage when your hands are full. So I'm not, like, you know, disturbed by this. But I'm just kind of like, damn, that's a fucked up thing to take a picture of. It's like when you take a picture with your eyes closed and you blink for a moment and somebody snapped the picture and now you look silly. You know, or before you fully smile, so you got this ugly mug on your face or something like that. Terrible pictures are the worst. Pictures can be a great thing, but they cut both ways, man. Sometimes you get a bad picture and that's all you're known for. Let's see. Vince really know where every camera is at any time. Man getting investigated for buying side pieces, then get caught outside with one. Why Vince date holding her purse like a dog? Watch. I bet you the next comment is going to be about Trish Stratus. Yep. Oh man, that boy about to turn to dust. Oh goodness. Nigga Vince catching accusations left and right, but said, let me go ahead and slide with John for this one time. Popped out with his newer hoe. Heaux. Hoe. Hoch. Cena, the ultimate company man. It's not even company. It's personal right here. Because this ain't got nothing to do with WWE. This is all personal right here, baby. He just loves him some Vince. Says, the way I didn't hear anything about it being his birthday yesterday. Oh my God. Yeah, WWE didn't really blow it up that he was, that it was his birthday. They kind of stayed away from that. I guess until they clear his name completely or until whatever happens. They're going to stay away from it for a little while. But WWE didn't, I don't think, wish him a happy birthday. I know they wished Rocky Johnson a happy birthday. Rocky Johnson was also accused of rape, by the way. But that was kind of slid under the rug. I know y'all probably don't know nothing about that, but he was. It says, had John Cena been wearing the same suit for 3 years now, or is it just me? It feels like he's wearing the same suit. He just changes the tie. You know, that's what it feels like. I know he probably got the same suit 100 different ways, but sometimes it looks like a football jersey on him. And sometimes it doesn't. It's like, I don't understand, man, but it seems like he seems like he has been wearing that same suit for a long time. Somebody says, it's wild to me that nobody in this thread is commenting on the fact that this woman on the left appears to be carrying her handbag in her mouth. Have you been paying attention? It's all people are talking about. Every other comment is, why is her purse in her mouth? Why is her handbag in her mouth? Why Shawty got her handbag in her mouth? It's like the only other thing outside of Vince's elbow that people are talking about. Oh, and Pat McAfee wearing a tank top, which is absolutely hilarious. But it's summertime in New York City. God damn it. And Pat McAfee going to Pat McAfee all the goddamn time. He gonna do him. You know? So I wonder, sorry. I wonder what type of shenanigans they found themselves in. Vince is 77. You know, it's probably not too much in the way of shenanigans, man. And somebody's laughing that Vince dyed his hair. Yeah, he did. He always has, though, for his on-screen character. He kind of regularly dyes his hair. So it's nice of that woman to marry an invisible man. Somebody says, Cena needs to stop dressing like that. There's hundreds of pictures of Vince dancing. The stand back dance, Vince dancing with these black ladies. This is hilarious. The stand back is the most hilarious thing, man. Like, who told him to gyrate like this? It's not dancing. That is not dancing. That is such bad body choreography. I couldn't imagine. What the fuck is he doing? Oh, God. Somebody says, I love John, but really wish he would stop supporting this eldritch predator. Somebody said, plenty of people have had family or friends that they love that have done really bad things and they still care about them and support them. There's nothing wrong with that. To still associate with them isn't endorsing what they did. Somebody says, who's the mystery woman with McMahon? And somebody says, maybe the paralegal? That's a good question. So, of course, somebody else is asking the question about why this young lady's purse is in her mouth. It seems to be a thing that nobody's going to get over, ever, that she's got a purse in her mouth. Like, you can't get over it. You can't look past it. You see it and instantly you're just kind of like, why? I wonder if Stephanie is going to call Vince on the phone. Like, Dad, could you please not take your hose out in public, for starters? Second, if you're going to take your hose out in public, at least make sure you got some couth. You're embarrassing us. She got a purse in her mouth, man. I ain't never did that before. Good Lord. Here's an interesting one. I like Vince being dressed down. And of course he hangs out with guys like Cena, Brock, and McAfee on his birthday. I hope he finds peace in not running WWE. I don't know. I think he's probably going to be bored. He's probably bored as shit right now. Like, god damn, he's probably bored as hell. He's been doing this shit his whole life, man. I know he's bored as hell. Somebody says, LOL, is Vince just trying to save himself under the shadow of John Cena because of how much positive impact Cena has on the world? This dude shouldn't be allowed to celebrate his birthday after the multiple rapes he did. The multiple rapes. He's just a random rapist. He just goes down and starts, holding people down and raping them. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense to people who don't think. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this one out. Damn, Vince is aging like a banana each day. He's aging like a banana. This dude is 77. Not only that, he barely sleeps. Not only that, he put his body through tremendous pressure with steroids and obsessively working out. He is disintegrating eventually. But for fuck's sake, he's 77. He couldn't keep it up forever, for Christ's sake. Maybe he should have died at like 50 or something like that. He was still a massive mountain of muscle. People would be like, would have statues of Vince. But now he's gone to get really old. He's really old now. That's the knobbiest elbow I've ever seen. Jesus. If that's a current pick, then Vince has been hitting the Ronald Reagan strength Greeking formula. I don't know what the fuck that meant. He said, what did Vince dye his hair and get a Tinder account? He's picking up hoes on Tinder. Ugh, that's gross. Of course. Why is the unknown woman with the purse in her mouth? Oh, somebody says, why does Linda look like that? That's clearly not Linda. That's not Linda. Stop it. Linda is as old as Vince, and this woman is she's probably about 15 years younger than Linda, from the picture I could look at. Somebody says Cena looks more like a younger-ish Earthhole. Wait, Cena looks like a younger Earthhole Vince did back when, because then Vince looks like Vince does now. LOL question marks. What the fuck is this comment? What even is this comment? We're gonna give it a second try because I've never been so confused before in my life. Cena looks more like a younger Earthhole Vince did way back when, because then Vince looks like Vince does now, LOL. Yeah, it's a bit of a poem, but once you think about it, it makes the ding. The other chick he is with must be Vince's newer assistant. What? What? I don't know, man. Somebody says she got his colostomy bag in her teeth. That's dedication for the dollar. Oh. Colostomy bag. Yo, that chick got her purse in her mouth like a dog. Vinnie Mac is doing his thing even at 77. Like I said, I wish I was that. I have that kind of that spryness at 77. And this guy's just kind of vulgar. He fucked some bimbo for his birthday. Come on, she ain't got to be a bimbo. Why do we do this? Why are we saying this? She's not a bimbo. Just because she's kind of silly with having her purse in her mouth doesn't mean she's a bimbo. Come on, man. Don't make me simp for an unknown lady with a purse in her mouth. Don't make me do that. So John Cena isn't just China's bitch. China is asshole. China is asshole. Jesus. What? Man. These people are insane. I don't know what more can we possibly get out of this nonsense. This shit's making me sweat because it's so silly. Okay. The quickest way to lose respect for John Cena is to see him supporting his piece of shit ex-boss, Vince McMahon. Really thought he had more integrity than that. I really thought he had more integrity than that. Oh my good God. Are you serious? This is rather insane, you know. Let's say, what's the bigger story in wrestling? Vince McMahon, on his first birthday outside of WWE, was spending Wednesday night with John Cena. No Linda, known that one for years, but no Steph, no Shane, no Triple H, no grandkids. Like, he can't have a moment for himself. This was at night. Maybe he's hanging out with them all day. Now that he's retired, he probably hangs out with them too much. You know, maybe he needs some time for him and his assistants to hang out with the boys. He just want to hang out with the guys. He want to hang out with the fellas. Pat McAfee's not wearing a shirt. You know, his shirt with no sleeves. I mean, it's just all... Brock is wearing a cowboy hat. Why can't Vince go out and have fun? I mean, Cena had to show up with a fucking tie on. Like, Vince is even wearing a tie, and Cena's wearing a tie. So I'm like, what the hell? They obviously was going to just chill out and maybe eat a lot of meat. And I don't know, man. But cut the guys some slack. Is Vince just openly cheating on his marriage now with a dog woman? Why she gotta be a dog woman? What is wrong with these people? Vince's nutsack is in his elbow. He got the grapefruits. The grapefruit is in his elbow. Somebody is tweeting Vince McMahon, man, what happened to your elbow? John Cena supporting that racist, assaulter, and sexual harassing man, but y'all won't say shit because it's not some random likes from women wrestlers y'all hate. What? I got the gist of it, but, okay. That's hilarious. This is Cena starting to look like a young Vince McMahon. He really does. He's starting to dress like him. What is going on? John Cena Sr. needs to go and get a DNA test. I'm telling you, because he's starting to look like Vince, and he's starting to dress like him. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. We need to ask more questions. We need to have the gift of discernment. Start looking up some stuff, trying to figure this out. Yeah. There's red flags on all the motherfuckers for me now. I guess all the motherfuckers who showed up to Vince's birthday party. So that would be Pat McAfee, who is, I guess, a perfectly progressive football guy. Because he was being attacked during the whole thing. Brock doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't even talk to his neighbors. I don't think Brock talks to his wife. He probably doesn't even talk to his kids. He gives a fuck if some rando on Twitter doesn't like who he is. Like, the day Brock Lesnar complains about somebody tweeting at him, man, I don't know what I'll do. It'd be the death of. It'd be like when Undertaker started tweeting. You know, that hurt my heart when he started tweeting. I was like, ugh. Oh, but the day Brock actually cares about what people say on Twitter will be quite the day. Here's an interesting and weird comment. Vince must love Pat McAfee differently. What? Man, you don't have... I think they know how gross that sounds. I know how gross that sounds. Somebody says, is that Teddy Long? So it's a black guy in this picture with Brock, Pat McAfee. And his head is turned. And somebody says, that Teddy Long. That is clearly not Teddy Long. Stop doing that. Don't do that. All right? Don't do that. He said, Brock, not surprised, but Vince must really love Pat. Yeah. He hangs out with Pat all the time now. Somebody says, looking past the payoffs for inappropriate sexual relationships, Vince will be seen as the visionary that made mainstream pro wrestling. Can't erase that fact. I hate Hogan, but I'll be the first to give him his respect for what he did for pro wrestling. He earned that. Somebody said Vince also got too greedy and he destroyed it. Well, not really. Somebody said, I thought Brock hated parties. He said, yeah, he does, but he loves Vince. So yeah, that kind of makes sense to me now. You know, it makes sense. McAfee, Trump, and Musk all have the same stance. They do? What's the stance? I have no idea. Is that a JoJo reference? Anyway, people keep asking if that's Linda. Motherfucker, you know that ain't Linda. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You know that ain't Linda. Oh, God. I think we need to take out another minute to recognize that John Cena's wife is very, very pretty. I'm talking super pretty. I just saw another picture of her. Just like a little bit of a headshot with her and John. That woman is gorgeous. Jesus, that woman is gorgeous. What the fuck? Wow, that chick hot. Where did he find her? Man, I'm saying find her like he was in a library or something. She was on the shelf. But she was clearly found. Like John Cena, he must have go where Leonardo DiCaprio went to find his women. Because he snagged him a good one. She pretty. Whew, oh boy. Somebody says, no fear for John. That's a man that has understand being a superhero and what his popularity in mom day can do. I read it like it was written. Okay, if you can figure it out, you let me know. Wow, that's awesome. Fans need to stop hating on Vince. And Vince should apologize to John Cena for making awful booking decisions, having John Cena lose at SummerSlam so many times. John Cena should have always been winning. What? Now is not the time to be talking about, John Cena losing matches to Kevin Federline and stuff. It's not the time for that, okay? There's other times for this. This is a birthday celebration. We're celebrating the born day of the warlord of wrestling. I just can't believe that everybody chose to go with this picture of this woman with this purse in her mouth. Not a single person has decided, Jesus H. Christ, maybe we need to find another picture of this woman. No. All of the pictures are of her with the purse in her mouth. Every single one of them. Or her face being obscured by the broad shoulders of Vince. It's all just insane. I just can't believe this. John Cena and his wife Shay Cena, I'm pretty sure that her name is not Shay Cena, had dinner last night with Vince McMahon. I know John views Vince as a father figure, but I'm shocked he's publicly supporting him with all the sexual assault allegations. What sexual assault allegations? That was made by Wall Street Journal with no names attached, with allegations based off information that they won't even discuss. They won't even discuss where that information might have come from. That should tell you that it could have come from anywhere. Sources familiar with the matter literally don't tell you anything. So, but it's interesting that we have this conversation again and again. It's one of those conversations that just won't end. at all. Here's a good question. Does Vince have any pals that aren't former employees? Well, that's a good question. Because it's rare that you see Vince hanging out with people who are not just former employees, or business partners. Like, does Vince have like childhood friends that he knew as he was coming up? He doesn't really even take pictures with his family like that. Like, I think that's part of why everybody is so into, any little thing you could find out about Vince, is because there's this mystique around him. There's not a lot of family pictures of him and like his mom or his brother. Some people didn't even know he had a brother. Like some people don't even know that his mom just recently passed away within the last 2 or 3 years. Like, there's a lot of stuff about Vince that they don't know. So it makes it easier for people to believe negative stuff because they don't have any of the positives. They don't have any of the normal human stories. And then if you look up Vince McMahon, you get crazy stories about how he hates sneezing and some of the other deranged stories that people have put out there that have been confirmed by multiple different people that like he hates sneezing and stuff like that, which is hilarious. And it's stuff that it's not normal. So you tend to not look at him as a normal person. But as somebody who has a carefully crafted image, or at least wanted to have one, of course his image was crushed in like the early 90s with the steroids trial and the Ring Boy scandal and all the public blow-ups he had on like Donahue and stuff like that. Vince McMahon really has been out there for a long time, but he mostly outside of the defending his company or defending his wrestlers or whatever, he doesn't really make personal, appearances. You never see Vince just pop up at somebody else's function, like he doesn't just pop up at, get a picture taken at some kind of convention or something like that. Like you see that sometimes like normal folks, they'll go to a friend's thing and they'll get, people will take pictures of them there. You really don't have a lot of that stuff with Vince either. So it's like, despite the fact that people think that he's some kind of, I don't know, whatever, it's like, you very rarely hear about Vince being in public, very rarely. And it kind of leads into the whole, he spent his whole entire life working aspect of it, which makes him seem like a fucking android or a robot or something like that. All right, let's go into this. This is going to be the home stretch. Most of us celebrate with cake, but you do you, Vince. How you know he ain't having no cake? It's fascinating that people as careful about their public image as Cena would risk being seen in the same zip code as Vince, much less the same restaurant. I don't think it matters at this point. He was smiling too, so he's like, it wasn't trying to sneak around. I don't know why people think like, you sneak around with people. It's like, no, that's a father figure for him. So he's going to go out in public and probably trust that there's nothing going to come out of this outside of maybe a couple of months of bad publicity. But whatever. Somebody says Cena was definitely roped into this, not even spending time with his family. Again, this was at night. We don't know what he was doing during the day. What do you think he does during the day? He rapes people during the day and then goes to Right Raw at 7 o'clock at night? These people are insane. Somebody says, I'm glad he spends quality time with his son in retirement. Me too. I'm thrilled by this. It's nice that John Cena would make Vince's Make-A-Wish dream come true. I wanted to make that joke earlier, but I didn't. I never got around to it. I got so distracted by the purse and the elbow and Pat McAfee's tank top and John Cena wearing the same football jersey everywhere he goes and Brock's hat. In that alley, it's just all so weird. It's just all just incredibly weird. John Cena goes to a rapist's birthday party. Ooh, that's insane. That's insane. These people are nuts. Hey, let's overlook the perversion and the mistreatment of women. Hey, let's overlook the fact that these women didn't complain and they took money to disappear. Oh, wait, anyway, what are you saying? Don't say that. Cena kissing ass as always. Damn. There's just no respect. These people have no lives at all. Nah, but Vince stepping out on Linda is wild. Man lost his job and said, fuck it. Yeah, absolutely. At this point, man, what the hell are you gonna hide for? He was trying to be discreet, which is how, wealthy people do it. You try to be discreet. He tried to keep quiet. That's why he paid that shit out of his own personal money. That's why he wouldn't embezzle it, because eventually somebody would look into it if it was WWE money. But since it was his own cash, he figured it's personal. Get the fuck out of here. But, he was trying to be discreet. He's trying to be respectful. That's the most respect you can have for somebody who did as much for you as Linda could, and you don't want to be with her anymore. Don't go through the public embarrassment. She takes a cut of the cash and goes and does her own thing. But she's doing boring politics stuff, so nobody cares. While Vince is on TV making out with the divas and generally being Mr. McMahon, egomaniacal idiot. That boy had to grovel because of the China thing. Now he's running around in public with the old goblin. Yikes. Ooh, old goblin. Maybe Cena thought Vince was China. The fucker loves China. I love how John Cena apologized to China for the whole Taiwan-China thing. And it's not like he's the Secretary of State, like he knows anything about fucking China and Taiwan and the internal politics of either one. He was just trying to make sure the fucking movie he was in wasn't going to flop in China. That's the only thing he was trying to do. Look, I don't agree with it. I think it was dog shit that he even apologized. But he did what he felt like he needed to do as a person who was a star of this movie. And as a movie star, you are responsible. Same bullshit that LeBron James does. When you are the star, the face of something, you have to be the one that makes sure that it's successful. And in doing that, you're going to do fucked up shit. And so I understand it, even though I didn't like it. So I don't think John Cena has some kind of unique relationship with China. That's ridiculous. I don't think so. The only reason he learned Mandarin was because WWE was looking to expand into China at one point. And John Cena was going to be, of course, the face of that. So he took time to learn Mandarin. This was years ago. They was talking about it years ago. It never actually happened because, the CCP and Communist Party, they want control of pretty much everything that happens in China. So it probably didn't work out that way. But the only reason he even knew Mandarin to apologize was, because of his business with WWE. So he was being, in his way, he was being responsible. And it turned into shit. Somebody says, finally, a John Cena heel turn. Wow. This is the heel turn everybody's waiting on. All right. Like I said, we're in the home stretch. So respect to Pat and Brock for wearing their wrestling gear, no matter the occasion. Yeah, they're gimmicked up all the time. Somebody says, is it because they don't care about the hot water Mr. McMahon is in? I don't know. But why is this even a story? Do we not have any boundaries? Let people celebrate personal things in private. Who gives a shit about a scoop on who came to someone's birthday party or a double date? That's a good question. Why would anybody give a shit? But ultimately, it's not a double date. It was a party. And plus, they're celebrities. And celebrity culture is absolutely garbage. It's just awful trash. McAfee might be the worst dressed man in the world. Because he's wearing a tank top. He's wearing a tank top. All these people are millionaires, by the way. Like, Pat McAfee is no poor man, okay? He's dressing for comfort. I think this response just said that Pat dresses for comfort, not to impress the masses. Like, absolutely. He's just going to chill, man. All right. So this will probably be the last one unless I see another one that's pretty funny. Let's see. Vince is like Hugh Hefner, a gross old man who uses his money to get women. It's sad as fuck. Well, I think you need to, if you think that's sad, wait till you hear about NFL players. They're the biggest tricks on the fucking planet. They're bigger tricks than the NBA players. They're bigger tricks than boxers. They're bigger tricks than NFL than the average Joe. NFL players are the biggest tricks on the fucking planet. Bar none. Why? You may be asking yourself, why are NFL players the biggest tricks on the planet? Because they play a game in which their faces are covered. So when they're not wearing helmets, and especially if you're a lineman, nobody knows who the fuck you are. If you're not a star football player, nobody knows who the fuck you are. So that incentivizes them to go to clubs and spend money. They're going to spend more money because they want to prove to you, I got NFL money. I'm going to go in here and make it rain. I'm going to pick me a couple of, that's why the NFL has so many NFL players have like sexual assault charges and rape charges and stuff like that, and extortion. The NBA is more child support, but in the NFL, that's a lot of child support problems too, but a lot of it is going to be sexual assault and stuff like that, because guys go out to the bar, they get drunk, they start getting handsy with the chicks and stuff like that. I'm an NFL player, bitch, you know who I am, and they start grabbing all over them and all that kind of stuff. They're the biggest tricks on the planet. The biggest tricks on the planet. Hugh Hefner, at certain points, the Hugh Hefner situation was probably a Playboy at its peak, was probably a situation where he couldn't even control the amount of pussy he was getting. He probably just getting pussy just waking up that day. He didn't have to put in that much effort anymore. He built an entire playground where chicks can skinny dip in pools. They were just throwing pussy at him. And then at some point it stopped. He got too old. He wasn't really attractive anymore. And now he had to start trying to take care of him. So that's kind of how I envisioned it. Because that's how I've seen it occur with guys. When they're younger, they're tricking a lot because they don't have much else. So you got to work very hard to get a woman's attention. Spend some money, take her out on some dates, expensive jewelry, flowers, all that kind of stuff just to get her attention. Then you got to keep her attention. So if you get her, now you're going to have to help her pay her car note, have her pay her mortgage, little side quests like she want to go do this, go that, go on vacation. And then you get really old to the point where you can't do much else. Now you're a sugar daddy. You got to put her up in an apartment. This is where Hugh Hefner and Vince probably are more likely to be, because they're both guys over the age of 70 who is still fucking with young chicks. So now you're talking about dudes who are basically just going to construct this woman's lifestyle, So, yeah, I can see the comparison, but the average Joe does it too, man. You just do it to a much less extent, and it's been more normalized with somebody like you or I would do. But if you paying somebody's mortgage for them or helping them pay their car note, somebody will say, oh, you're just being a good boyfriend. Other people will call you a trick. I think I've gone beyond calling people tricks unless it's a one-to-one transaction, an access to sex for relationship sort of transaction. A girlfriend is an entire thing. She's doing stuff for you. You're doing stuff for her. And I mean non-material stuff, In a sugar daddy situation, that chick can't do anything for him but lay down, So that's more like tricking. That's more like prostitution than I would, envision most other people are doing. Unless you got a girlfriend that doesn't do anything. She just lays around all day and you're taking care of her. Then maybe you are a trick. Shit, I don't know. Maybe you're the most stable guy she knows, and you're taking care of her and paying her way through college and all that kind of shit. It happens, but it's not necessarily like horrible, terrible thing. It's not disgusting or gross or anything like that. It's just the way that men have to do stuff in order to get women's attention. That's just how it is. Women don't have to do anything. They just have to exist. If you let a man know that pussy is even available, most of these dudes will crawl over broken glass in order to get it. That's how pathetic and sad most men are. And that's just kind of how relationships work. Women have all the power in relationships and always have. There's never been a part of society, never in anywhere, where rape and just beating women and taking them has been a norm. Any society that has relationships has at least a structure that protects the women. Protecting women is a functional part of every fucking civilization that I can think of. That gives the women the utmost power. You couldn't even get a woman if you didn't have any money. And that's back during the days of, oh, well, they were selling women. It's like, no, they were trading. It was value for value. Oh, that doesn't sound right, though. But it was saying fathers value their daughters. They would not let their daughters run off with guys who didn't have anything, who couldn't take care of them financially, and who didn't have anything of his own. It was a way of protecting her. Yes, it was patriarchal, and sorry, she wasn't making her own decisions. But look at our society now where women are making their own decisions. A bunch of children with no fathers. Fucked up family lives. Maybe we was doing things the right way the first time. I don't know. I don't got no daughters though, so I can't tell you. But I'm just saying that old men, they just do at the extremes what a younger guy does regularly. You know, like a younger guy is going to have to get, if he gets married, he's going to have to get his wife a house. They're going to have to get some kind of transportation. They need somewhere to take care of the kids and all that kind of stuff. An older guy, he's probably not so much on the kids, but he's definitely going to have to take care of her. Definitely have to get her an apartment. Definitely going to have to get her a car. Definitely going to have to get her some jewelry. How is that any different from any other married guy? You know, the only difference is they've got this kind of contractual relationship where it's going to be sex and companionship for money, where that's not the case for, a younger couple who may just like being with each other, and he doesn't need to give her money directly for sex. Older guys, yeah, they kind of have to. They don't have, especially if you're an older guy too, especially if you're an older rich guy like Vince. What time do you have? He was still working until, a month ago. So what time did he have to go on dates? I think I had this conversation before, but it seems kind of weird that somebody would think that, he can only get women because of his money. Like you're better. Like you ain't out here paying some chick's mortgage and helping put gas in her car and all that kind of shit. You ain't no different. It took me a while to get there, like it took me a while to get there because I remember fighting and arguing with people about this for a long time, man. And it took me to get a little bit older before I recognized, like, yeah, whether you're doing it the easy way or you're doing it the hard way, you're paying for it. I used to fight it. But it still is a difference between what a guy like Vince and Hugh Hefner does and what the average person does. The average guy is still coming out of pocket, but he's building something or trying to. He's trying to create a system in which they can take care of themselves and take care of each other. While an older guy is looking at it from a perspective of convenience. It's more convenient to him to just have him a young chick that he can take care of. And that's it. She has sex with him. He can go off, do his own thing. Maybe have another one. Maybe she can live her own life too. And, that kind of scenario. But we way off subject now. So it's time to patch things up. All right. I had fun talking about Vince McMahon's pregnant elbow, the woman with the butt, the purse in her mouth, Pat McAfee's tank top, and more. Hopefully you guys had fun too. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.